friends, it's Kat. Welcome back to my channel. So my hair is currently drying, but I never wear my hair down, so it's at least not ever. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna roll with it. But today's video is all about my April TBR, and I have a lot of books to go through, but I guess the structure of the video is I will go over what I've read last time, and I will not give my ratings or like go into detail about the books, just that if I completed the prompts or not. And then my wrap up will be all about what I've read in the month of March. So I have a readathon that I will be participating, and I'm super excited. So I will mention that after the rolls. And my husband's rolls I will show in the video, but as far as what he has read for his prompts last month, I will share in this video. I think that's how I'm going to do it, where I will share my husband's prompts in or what he fulfilled from the last month, like what he read for those in the TBR videos, if that makes sense. But yeah, any bit of housekeeping? No, I don't think so. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So last month I had gotten the prompt, Colors of the Wind, use a random color generator to pick the book, and that I got a sea foam green, and that worked perfectly for the book The Mistletoe Countess by Pepper Basham. Her dress is that green color, and I did complete the book. The next prompt that I had was the library to buy a new book for my TBR, and I would read that. And I have the book here, and it's called Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and this is curated by Barbara Heller. And I did not complete this book. In fact, I am like right there, and there's no way I'm going to make it to 100 pages. For those who don't know, if I had not finished at time of filming, I should be at 100 pages, or at least I should be at 100 pages by the end of the month. And I would not take a punishment to roll backwards, but since I'm on page 71, and today is currently the 29th, I will not get to 100. I'm currently reading another book that I'm just more interested in finishing, and this one, it's I won't get to 100 pages. I do like the book, but I won't reach my goal. So I will be rolling back for that one. The next one that I had was Third Wish, read from a favorite author. And so I picked Lisa Harris, and her book is called Hidden Agenda. This is the third of the series, and I did complete that book. Okay, so for my husband's prompts, and I don't remember what order they were in, so I'm just gonna go with what I have here. But one of them, it was Diamond in the Rough, pick a library book, and he decided to use this for the audiobook to The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis, and he enjoyed it. The other one was a book that was a mood read, because he landed on one of the couples on the board game, and the Disney couples, anyone that you land on is a mood read. And I don't remember what he chose for that one. He might have combined it with one of the other prompts, because he is allowed to combine prompts if it's easier for him, or just to fulfill them in any way that he wants to, like creatively. It doesn't have to be a reading prompt. It could be anything else. But the last one that he did get was The Muses Read a Book About Music or the Arts. And I have been wanting him to read Fox by Nadine Briggs. And so he did pick this one up because one of the characters in there does paint. So that fulfills that prompt. And as far as him liking the books, this book, he liked some of the concepts of it. I actually enjoyed it more than he did, but it was just fun in conversation to have with him about the book. And so I will say that he enjoyed some of it. He knew the Guy Fawkes story, so I think that's it didn't surprise him as much as it did for me as far as that went, because I've never heard of the story. But he also wasn't too crazy about the color magic system and I guess how it was written about. But I liked it better, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to just share that with you. And if you are interested in seeing what he rolled for this month, stay tuned towards the end. I'll put what he rolled. So now we're gonna go jump into the game and I will show you right now roll number 1. Okay, so here's game setup. I don't really like the angle, but we're gonna go with it. Since I have not completed one book, I have to roll backwards. So this is gonna be first roll, whatever I land on, that will be my first prompt. Okay. And that is a 6. You see that? Yeah, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a card. All right, it says Magic Pumpkin. Read a book with an adaptation. Yes, I love this one. So as you could see for roll number 1, I rolled so far back. But I did get Magic Pumpkin, Read a Book with an Adaptation, which I am excited about because the book I chose for this one is I Can Only Imagine by Bart Millard, or Millard. But this is a memoir and it has a movie. I saw the movie before I read this book, but Bart Millard is the person who wrote the song I Can Only Imagine, and he is part of the group Mercy Me. And from the movie, I remember seeing it years ago, and it had one of my favorite actors in it, Dennis Quaid. At least I have I enjoyed him in The Parent Trap, and I enjoyed him in this movie. So, but Dennis Quaid was the father of the guy who played Bart. So the movie just talks about Bart growing up with his father and just their relationship and how he came to write about the song. The song is basically talking about one day in heaven, or just like meeting Jesus face to face, and like all that he could imagine what is like how that day is going to be. And so the movie was emotional for me, and I am very interested to see how close it is in relation to his memoir. So anyway, this is an exciting read, and I can't wait to, oh, it has pictures. So we also have pictures in the book, and that's awesome. I like when they put pictures. It just helps you connect better with the story. So anyway, that's going to be it for my first prompt. All right. Second roll, hopefully we'll get a higher number. Roll 2. And what is this? It's a 2. All right. 1, 2. Prompt. Sleep spell. Read a slow-paced book. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, so roll number 2 was not a favorite prompt of mine, but it is sleep spell, read a slow-paced book. Now, I looked on Storygraph, and I have a Storygraph and a Goodreads, and I use both of them, but I like them for different reasons. So Storygraph, it's easier to filter like certain things, and on there I searched for some slow-paced books, but then I realized that I have the perfect book for this, and I'm gonna pick Little Women. On Storygraph, it doesn't have this as slow-paced, but how I'm reading it is a lot slower than I would like. And, you know, it's got like little things in it that you can like take out and read and really immerse in the story. So I'm gonna count this for slow-paced book, and that's great because I really do want to finish it, and you can get that done this month. Roll number 3, final roll. And we get a 2. Oh man. Okay. 1, 2. Oh, all right, this one, 7 Dwarves. So basically this card, I have to number generate 1 through 7, and whatever number I land on determines what genre I read. And for my final roll, I got the card 7 Dwarves. And on this card, there's all 7 of them, of the dwarves, and each dwarf is paired with a genre. So we have Doc, which is nonfiction, Happy, which is historical fiction, Bashful, which is romance, Sneezy, which is seasonal, Dopey, which is children or middle grade, Sleepy, which is sci-fi or fantasy, and Grumpy, which is mystery or thriller. And so I did generate the 3 times because I feel like that gives it nice and randomized. And it landed on number 3. And so that's Bashful for romance. So the book I picked is All That It Takes by Nicole Deese. And Nicole Deese, I've read only one other book from her, and that was the first one in this duology. And I actually listened to the audio and I really liked it. So this book is the companion novel to that other one. And it follows her brother, who is a preacher, and it's his love story. And I'm excited because I think this is a friends to lovers trope, and I really do like the friends to lover trope a lot, because I guess a little bit of my story, I married my best friend essentially. So yeah. But I am excited to finish this series / duology. Okay, so those were all my roles, and I want to share what I will be reading for Chantelles Read Your Challenge prompt. And I did have DNF'd the previous book, which was Unbirthday, but I still will count that as completing that prompt. So for the month of April, the prompt is to read a different genre from the March book. And so Unbirthday is a young adult fantasy. I looked through my books and I am going to go with a memoir, another memoir, and this one is called Tell Me the Dream Again by Tasha Jun. And if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my journal. But Tasha Jun is the author, and she is writing about her being biracial here in America. I think she's Korean, part Korean American, and she wrote, she has like different, I think they're like short stories or a little memoir about just her experience here in America. And I think there's some Christian elements to it too, about how she believes that she is a child of God, and I guess her life story through the prejudices that she may have been going through. So this is a NetGalley book, and it's actually going to come out in April. I believe it's April or May. I will put the date below somewhere. But I want to get this in there so that way I can do a video for the book review, and for me getting it on the TBR will help me get that video out too. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 there. So all right, so that was all, that those 4 books were all on my TBR, and now we can go into Spring into Christian Fiction Readathon. This is hosted by Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails, and she is great. She came up with this last year. At the time, I didn't join in. I was still in school, and it was the end of the year, and there's just a lot just goes on at schools in the end of the year. You got testing, and you have just meeting the new students, and parties for the kids, and all these after school or all these end of the year items, and it was very stressful. So I'm kind of glad she moved it to April, just because April is less hectic, but I am excited. And she did 10 prompts, which I will try to find her video to link so that way she can explain how she came up with these prompts. I did use some of the books that you've already seen to fulfill some of the prompts. I'll be able to succeed this time around. But I also had the challenge to fulfill all these prompts with Christian fiction. However, I didn't meet that challenge. I actually have some nonfiction, but that's okay. I mean, it's still Christian. So that was the other goal, was just to try to do all Christian fiction. And if not, if I have to do some Christian nonfiction, that's okay. So, but yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first prompt and then show you what I picked for it. So the first prompt says, a book with a blue cover. The book that I chose is called The Sweet Smell of Magnolias and Memories. And this is by Celeste Fletcher McHale. And I'm just going to read the back. It says, JC and Colin shared the 3 most intense days of their lives together, waiting for help as Mississippi floodwaters surrounded them. JC knew Colin was the love of her life until her rescue boat went under water along with Colin's last name and pieces of JC's memory. As JC walks down the aisle as the maid of honor at her friend's wedding a year later, the last person she expects to see is Colin. The biggest surprise, though, is that the man of her dreams is not wearing jeans and flip-flops as he did when he held her through those long nights of the flood. He's the preacher. And I'm just going to stop right there. That sounded really good. And the cover is also stunning. I mean, that blue with the white contrast, it's wonderful. And I can't wait to read the mystery part of it. I mean, what is this? Who is this guy? So anyway, that's going to be a great read, and I can't wait to dive into that. Okay, the next prompt says, a book I keep looking at but never pick up. This one, I'm gonna put the buddy read, which is Wish Tress by Nadine Brands. And there's a picture right there. I'm gonna listen to it on audiobook through my library. This one I have seen all over YouTube, and I know there were some Christian booktubers who didn't like Fox as much, but they loved this one, and so that's one of the reasons why I didn't put it on my TBR, I guess, because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about Fox first, and then when I ended up liking Fox, I decided that I was going to try her other one, Romanov, and then people started talking about this one, and this one they said was different, so I'm curious. I want to see what the hype is about. But all I know about the book is that there is a woman who sheds tears, and I guess they grant wishes, but something goes wrong, and basically her next tear that comes out will cause her to die. So that's all I know. The cover is beautiful. I am curious to see how Nadine Brands writes the magic system, I guess, in this book. And yeah, that's what I picked. Number 3 is a book with a bird on the cover. And this one, because I'm enjoying the first book in this series, I decided to pick the second one up, and that is Boo Hoo by Renee Gutteridge. And there's our owl right there. So this first book, and I think I have it with me, yeah. So this is the first book, and honestly, like, if you look at these are library books, but if you look at the covers, they look really, really creepy, but it is the complete opposite, I mean, in my opinion, about it. I mean, there's a reason why, I guess, they look like that, but this book is just so funny, and because this is the second book, I'm just going to talk about the first one. So that's the first one, and this book has me laughing out loud. And really, I heard about this one off of Katie's channel, and I think she laughed out loud too with it. And anyway, I'll just talk more about this book later, but this one talks about a man who is a horror writer. He writes horror stories, and a lot of his stories comes from his hometown, which is the town of Scary. And he recently converts to Christianity, and the town is devastated and is trying to find a way for him to continue to write these stories, because that's what makes their town famous, and they're afraid their town is basically going to go just go down, I guess, in popularity because of his new conversion. So that's the first book, and I am not going to read the second book's back part because I'm still like almost halfway through. So yeah, I don't want to have any spoilers for me. So anyway, Boo Hoo is the one that I'm going to use for prompt number 3. The next prompt is reread an old favorite. And I usually reread nonfiction, but this time I did choose one of my all-time favorite Christian fiction, and that is Land of Silence by Tessa Afshar. And I love this book. This one was my favorite of last year. This is the story that follows the woman who bled for 12 years in the New Testament. And she was one of the characters that I related to, as far as her just going through grief, or just that, well, she goes through grief, but just that she goes through a lot and even struggles with shame. But when it's Jesus, it's just a powerful moment. and it's just beautiful. And so this will be my book for rereading an old favorite. All right, the next prompt is an interesting prompt, but it has two parts to it. It's read a book that smells nice or that is set during Easter. Now, I don't have any books that are set during Easter. That was pretty hard to follow. I think I had one actually that talks through the Easter story, but I read that last year, and this year my husband and I are going through another Easter kind of devotional type book. So, but as far as, you know, a book that is actually set during Easter, I don't have. Part of the prompt is to pick a book that smells nice, and I have to laugh because my husband, when he saw me sniffing all my books, his face was very perplexed. He was like, "Why are you doing this?" And I had to explain the prompt and everything, but he didn't. He was just like, "You smell. Books have a smell," which they do, and they definitely, to me, I can only get like an older, kind of an older book smell, or maybe like the ink of the page of what's on the page. So when the prompt said smells nice, I couldn't. I don't know what I was expecting, but basically I just took this as if I could smell anything within the book, like the ink or like maybe the pages that have like an older smell, I use that. So this one I'm going to use for I Can Only Imagine, because I can smell something in the book. So that's what I did for this prompt. And Katie, that's a good prompt, just letting you know. Prompt number 6 says, read a book with flowers on the cover, and I am choosing All That It Takes by Nicole Deese, and the flowers are right there. Okay, and I think these are forget-me-nots, which is very nostalgic to me because my grandmother used to take care of us growing up during the summertime when my mom was working. And one summer we planted flowers, and I chose forget-me-nots, and so that's why I have that special connection with them. So yeah, that one is for prompt number 6. Prompt number 7 is read a book that has new life. And I picked back up this book, Tessa F. Shar's book called Thief of Corinth. This is the only Tessa F. Shar book I have not read that she has already, that I have not read yet. And this book was also on the backlist Readathon, which I didn't. I failed miserably with that one. But here we go. It's going to happen this time. But let me go ahead and read the back for you. After years living with her mother and oppressive grandfather in Athens, Readathon, I believe that's how you say her name, runs away to her father's home in Corinth, only to discover the perilous secret that destroys his marriage. Though a Greek of high birth, Galenos is the infamous thief who has been robbing the city's corrupt of their ill-gotten gains. Desperate to keep him safe, Readathon risks her good name, her freedom, and the love of the man she adores to become her father's apprentice. As her unusual athletic ability leads her into dangerous exploits, Readathon discovers that she secretly revels in playing with fire. But when the wrong person discovers their secret, Readathon and her father find their future and very lives hanging in the balance. When they befriend a Jewish rabbi named Paul, they realize that his radical message changes everything they fought to build, yet offers something neither dared hope for. Nice. So, new life, Readathon runs to Corinth, becomes a thief, but also Paul is bringing the message of a new life, in Christ. So there we go. Prompt number 8 says, get a book that gives me a sunshine feeling. The book I chose is The Austen Escape by Catherine Ray. This has a wonderful green and pop of yellow cover. There is a fruit basket with some flowers and cheese and a book. So, you see that? But yeah, it gives me that sunshine feeling because of, you go on a picnic usually out in the sunshine and the colors are vibrant. So that's my pick. And the back says, Mary Davies finds safety in her ordered and productive life. Working as an engineer, she genuinely enjoys her job and her colleagues, particularly a certain good-looking and intelligent consultant. But something is missing. When Mary's estranged childhood friend, Isabel Dyer, offers her a 2-week stay in a gorgeous manor house in England, she reluctantly agrees in hopes that the holiday will shake up her quiet life in just the right ways. But Mary gets more than she bargained for when Isabel loses her memory and fully believes she lives in Jane Austen's bath. While Isabel rests and delights in the leisure of a Regency lady attended by the other costume-clad guests, Mary uncovers startling truths about their shared past, who Isabel was, who she seems to be, and the man who now stands between them. Sounds really, really good. So, a nice mystery-esque to this. And it does say Christian fiction on the back, though the synopsis doesn't really have that. But I am intrigued. So that one will count. Prompt number 9 says, to read a book under 250 pages, and for that, I'm going to choose the NetGalley book, Tell Me the Dream Again. And this is, I think, in the 240 range, so I should fit that prompt. And for the final prompt, read a book that is first in a series. And this one I chose Dust by Kara Swanson from the Heirs of Neverland series. And that cover, again, really beautiful. And I will read the back. This says, Claire Kington believes the world is too dark for magic to be real, since her twin brother was stolen away as a child. Now, Claire's desperate search points to London and a boy who shouldn't exist. Peter Pan is having a beastly time getting back to Neverland. Grounded in London and hunted by his own lost boys, Peter searches for the last hope of restoring his crumbling island, alas, with magic in her veins. The girl who fears her own destiny is on a collision course with the boy who never wanted to grow up. The truth behind this fairy tale is about to unravel everything Claire thought she knew about Peter Pan and herself. So this is interesting book. It also does not say Christian fiction, but I think on Goodreads it said it was. So I'll still count it. But yeah, so this is book 1, and it's actually part of a duology. So I'm just gonna, technically that's a series. So hopefully if I like it, I can pick up the second book. But this was a gift from my husband, and he's been asking when am I gonna pick it up, and I can tell him now. It's on my TBR. Okay, so that was my TBR for April. All right, husband role number 1. All right, he's got an 11. Okay. Prompt card. It says, Wiggins, read a book with double letters in the title. The letters need to be next to each other. All right, that's going to be a fun one. Roll 2. Ooh, that was out of shot, but show them anyway. And that was, ooh, it was a 1. All right. It says, put it more, yeah. Let's see. The Dragon, read an intimidating book. Ooh, we are getting some interesting prompts here. All right, final roll. Ooh, that's a 10. Oh man. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but it's a villain. So this is 2 prompts. So let's see what it is. First one says, poor unfortunate soul. Pick the largest number of pages on your TBR. Okay. And the second one is, Mrs. Potts, read a couple's book. Recap for my husband's prompts. He had Wiggins read a book with double letters in the title, and the letters need to be next to each other. He had The Dragon read an intimidating book, and then he landed on a villain, which is 2 prompts, and he has to combine them. And we have Mrs. Potts read a couple's book, along with Poor Unfortunate Soul, which is pick the largest number of pages on your TBR. So I will let you know what he did to fulfill those prompts at the wrap up of April. But yeah, he's got some interesting prompts to work with. So I'll let you know what he did to fulfill those. Anyway, I hope you liked today's video. If you read any of these books, please let me know. If you are participating in the Christian Fiction-a-thon, or I'm sorry, Christian Fiction Readathon, I would also love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye.